This slide is to help us as we move into the second session on the 7-level cognitive principle matrix. So this slide shows the left brain and the right brain as defined by McGilchrist. And the drivers down the bottom, the left brain's driven by greed to find food, and the right brain's driven by fear for safety. For 2 million years, the left and right brain worked in relative harmony because every day you're out hunting. And while you're hunting with the left brain looking for food, the right brain was assessing the total holistic situation of where the safety threat might exist. But when we move straight to the 21st century, what happens is we've got a problem. Because part of the 2 million years of development, our instincts are that an emotional threat, that is the roar of a tiger, would lead to a physical threat of facing the tiger. So there's a strong connection between emotional threats and physical threats. But in this 21st century, most of the emotional threats don't lead to physical threats. So the model starts on the assumption that Maslow's basic needs of food, clothing, shelter, and safety have already been met. Therefore, we need to redefine emotional, physical threats. Emotional threats don't lead to physical threats if you're already safe. So we're talking about emotional threats to the spirit, to our cognitive mental position, and obviously emotions, our emotions. So the rule for the new model, the new advanced cognitive principle therapy, once we're already physically safe, is that in positive situations, it's personal. That is, there's love or there's trust, respect, acceptance, and commitment. But in negative situations, it's not personal, it's behavioral. It just is. It's just something to be fixed. It is not a physical threat. So this affects how we deal with the spiritual principles of forgiveness, of suffering, and growth. That suffering and growth and forgiveness is easier because it's not personal. Suffering's easier because it's not personal, because we're using the right brain goal right at the top of I am, oneness. There's oneness. But what's happening in the real world in 21st century is that the left brain is the dominant in society. We've got out of balance. The left and the right brain aren't working together like they did for 2 million years. So we've got two types of apex leaders. We've got the dictator who's driven by power but needs money. And we've got the capitalist who's driven by money but needs power. So they're both working off the same money power, but just in a different way. Now you can have a good dictator and a good capitalist, and that would be in a democracy. And as the money and power get built up at the top by the apex leaders, they redistribute it down to the bottom so that everyone has food, clothing, and shelter and feels safe. But what's happening with AGI? It's burning up money. And both the dictators in China or elsewhere in that form of government, or the capitalists in US and the other Western countries, they're running out of money because in the next 5 years, they're going to spend $5 to $7 trillion of cash on AI development with software and data centers and other expenses. So what's happening is the money that is being made by the capitalists and the dictators aren't being distributed down to the bottom level people, and they're getting increased levels of anxiety because of the uncertainty, uh, because of the lack of distribution of wealth. They're feeling though they're missing out. As well as that, the future is so unknown and changing, they're losing a sense of purpose and direction. So that's why we need the right hemisphere to come back into balance by focusing on cosmic consciousness and to evolve out of this model of capitalism and materialism, because it's not going to serve as well in terms of our mental, physical, and emotional stability in the coming period.